Right, so on this issue, we're going to be joined by political analyst Dr Metji Makgoba to unpack Chief Justice Raymond Zondo's recent public remarks. A very good afternoon to you, Dr Makgoba, and thank you for your time with us here on the SABC.
Afternoon.
All right, let's get your thoughts on the statement issued by CASEC regarding Chief Justice Raymond Zondo transgressing the boundaries of acceptable speech by judges as we speak.
And they're quite spot on because South Africa is a liberal constitutional democracy which has separations of powers. Judges have certain ethical codes in which they need to operate within. And in this context, I think Judge Zondo has overstepped his mark. He's not supposed to be discussing legal issues, especially that which are before the courts, in a public platform, because he's actually overstepping the parameters of impartiality and objectivity. And in this case, it means that he's actually making a political statement. And I don't think in this context, judges are allowed to offer political analysis on legal and serious issues in this context, especially when he's directly involved.
Thank you for those opening remarks. Perhaps given the issue of separation of powers, what impact does this have on the judiciary, its independence? And what does it also say about the legitimacy of future judgments and the issue of recusal also coming into play, given the code of conduct by the judicial conduct as well?
I think it makes the mockery of the judiciary, because if judges can't themselves uphold levels of privacy and impartiality, it means that whatever goes before court is going to have political implications. And I don't think that's what Judge Raymond Zondo wants to project of the courts. I think the remarks he has made might be personal opinions, but because he operates as a Chief Justice, he shouldn't have said the things he has said, even though he might claim that he has freedom of expression. In this case, it doesn't count because the matters that he spoke about are before courts, and he has to be impartial and objective and not make any political remarks over the issues. And in this context, the remarks actually cast aspersions on the independence of the judiciary, that judges can make political statements about the judiciary and nothing else is going to happen.
I actually wanted to bring the issue of freedom of expression, but thank you for alluding to that as well. In your opinion, does this bring into question his own integrity and bias, overstepping into politics as the head of the judiciary then?
Given that South Africa is a constitutional democracy empowered with separations of laws and so on, the judges have code of conduct, and one of those things is that you can't comment on matters that are before the courts, especially when you are a legal figure in the form of the Chief Justice. This is something that should be left to the politicians or the media of other people, but somebody who is directly involved cannot discuss such issues, especially in a casual manner in a conference. These are serious issues, and if he respects the seriousness of his office, he shouldn't have said the stuff that he said, because people are going to start questioning whether the Zondo himself is impartial, or does he have a political opinion on court cases in South Africa, and that is not the image that the judiciary want to project among South Africans.
Well, what impact does this then have on the timing of it all, given that we are edging closer to elections as well as a nation?
I think it's a serious issue. People who, like Jacob Zuma, who felt like Zondo was unfair upon them, might feel like this is an ammunition that they can use against him, because if, as a Chief Justice, he's commenting on legal issues outside the legal parameters, it shows some level of unprofessionalism and naivety to an extent, because these are sensitive matters which he must uphold high level of objectivity and impartiality. And if the people who go before court feel like the justice system does not provide that element of objectivity and impartiality, then they will start thinking that maybe the judiciary is a political armory that is being used by the political class.
Perhaps as we wrap this up, this chat up, Dr. Makgoba, where to from here? How does he rectify this? What steps should be taken? Is an apology in order?
think apology in this context is going to be difficult because the damage has already been done. The concerns that have been raised are quite serious. I think maybe he needs to contextualize what point was he trying to drive home, and whether his outcomes are directly connected with what's happening with the cases that he's spoken about. Because the suggestion is that as a Chief Justice, you always speak as a Chief Justice. You can't say today I'm at a conference, I'm speaking as a conference speaker. That position you uphold all the time, and you must always be careful on what you say, especially in public, because it might be used against you. I think he must be given an opportunity to explain himself further, because he can actually draw on the issues of freedom of expression, but it's not going to count because he has actually violated the basic rule: do not comment as a judge on the matters that are before the courts, because it would actually make a mockery of the justice system.
Let's leave that conversation then. Thank you for your time with us here on the SABC. Dr Metji Makgoba is a political analyst weighing in on some of the issues coming to the fore, unpacking Chief Justice Raymond Zondo's recent public remarks, facing criticism, in fact, for his recent public remarks on wide-ranging issues, delving into South Africa's political landscape. CASSEC, of course, the Council for the Advancement of the South African Constitution, has urged Chief Justice Raymond Zondo to exercise restraint when making public statements and to always act with the best interests of the judiciary in mind. Again, thank you to Dr. Makgoba for those sentiments.